Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Monday morning. What a way to start the week with a show like this. I just get fascinated every time I come in and do the show with all the fun things we get to do and all the things we get to share with you, our fellow outdoorsmen and fellow viewer. We just really appreciate the viewership and all kind of stuff going on here in July. Today, of course, is Monday, and it is we do the Monday moon forecast. We do some different things and all. But first of all, the weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. High of 90. Low of 78, and water temperature jumped up 2 degrees to 84. So it's gotten warm again. Another current come through is warming up a little bit. Now let's take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, and we're in some really strong tides. Looking at July the 13th, good tides. We have a high tide this morning at 7:41 and a low tonight at 6:40. That's an 11-hour difference exactly right there. So there's really good morning tides all week long. And I just look at July 13th. We're almost halfway through the month of July. It just seemed like yesterday I was telling y'all we're halfway through the month of June. And time just seems to be flying by. And this summer it's going to be over before we know it. So make sure you get to do a lot of things that you've been wanting to do. Don't keep putting them off sometimes like we all do. Now let's take a look at our moon forecast. We do this every Monday. Today, again, is the 13th, right there in the middle of the month, and we're on a waning moon. It's about to fade on out by the 15th or 16th, completely dark that night. The 17th, Friday night, a new moon, and starting out in 2.5 weeks, it'll be another full moon. So this weekend, with that new moon, there's going to be some good fishing along the river system. I promise you, there's going to be some fish caught this weekend, and all the weather stays right and the moon like that, and I'm looking forward to it. Marine forecast is going to be west-southwest, and they're saying at 9 miles per hour. I almost laughed when I said 9. I'm thinking usually it's 5 to 10, but this morning it's going to be 9, okay? West-southwest at 9. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. In this day and age, we're constantly having changed technology, and what a progression of technology we've had. It's really affected every facet of our lives, and especially in education and all the things we can do electronically and all, and even Panhandle Outdoors. And I do a lot of things off this iPad here, and I absolutely love my iPad. I don't know what I do without it, 'cause so much. It's just like having the whole world in your palm right here as far as finding things out. A lot of folks, so we talk about the Panhandle Outdoors website, and I just want to show you how easy it is off any computer, off your iPhone or anything, how easy it is to go to it. So what you do is just type in, right at the top of the page there, just type in Panhandle Outdoors and hit go, and then it's going to take you. Now that's our website, okay? And once you get there, you can scroll down to the bottom, and that's me old Tony Bass. But let's see, I'm up to, on the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little counter. I've had 71,000 hits on this website. I'm very proud of that. But what most people are going to are the fishing report. I try to do once a week and all that. On the fishing report, it tells you everything I talk about on Friday, and then it gives you major feeding time. So get in the habit of make that one of your favorite places to go, because it's constantly changing, and it's important. And I say it's constantly changing. That fishing report changes each week for the most part. Sometimes we get behind on it. And my pictures, I'm going to get it arranged maybe this fall. I'm going to get sort of update my website and find a place where we can start sending pictures in that we have here, and then also put them on the website. Right now I just don't have time to do that. So just be aware of that. Go check it out on that fishing report. And like I say, later on we're going to do more pictures. We're talking about a summer flying by. We're over halfway through. July 4th is usually the halfway mark of the summer. And so we're on a downhill side. Also, I've noticed days are getting a little bit shorter. It's the same routine. If you get up the same time of day, you can sort of gauge on clear mornings what the sun is doing. I've just noticed just a little bit shorter. When the show starts at 5:30, it's a little bit darker than it has been. I don't know if you've noticed that too. All right, this summer, at the beginning of summer, I gave you a list of things to check on, a list of fun things to do outdoors, and I'm just going to give you a checkup. It's like a midterm exam to see if you caught up on any of these things and done it. Now, I don't expect you to do I haven't done all these and will not do all these. I just don't have time, but these are just some of the ideas, okay? We're talking about fishing and camping. I know a lot of y'all have already done that. Hunting, talking about if y'all going hog hunting or frog frog gigging. Okay, now if you have, I want you to email me and tell you you've already done these things. Snorkeling at the kiddie pool, okay, don't forget to do that. It's an excellent time of the year. Okay, floundering, flounder gigging, we're starting to get into that. Seen some good pictures recently. Food plot, have you checked on your food plot, got it sort of set up for the hunting season? The game cameras, have you got your game cameras in position? Have you hiked to Rio State Park? Phyllis Brookins, I talked when I mentioned that last time, she sent me an email, and she and Steve were going to try that. So Phyllis, let me know if you did hike to Rio State Park. Hope you did it in the morning. This is interesting now. Have you gone out and watched the sturgeon jumping on the Choctaw River at Highway 20 around Ebro? At this time of year, they're really jumping strong. They're really putting on a show. We're at a peak of their jumping, really. So that's a lot. I mean, it's constantly. And notice the different patterns they have. And see if you can, a lot of times they're telling me the same ones be jumping the same place. I don't know how you can tell, but they're usually about the same size. Trot lining. Have you been out trot lining and set hooks? Outdoor invention. Have come up in inventions. I just saw an invention 2 days ago. Well, it was last Thursday, 3 days ago. They're coming up now. This little gadget about the size of a remote control like this, and you put your fishing line in it, and it will actually melt the line together, and therefore you don't ever have to tie any more knots. I'm going to check this out. Pretty soon we're going to the ICAST Tackle Show, which is the world's biggest tackle show, and they're going to be in a booth down there, and I'm interested to check that out. Personally, I want to tie my own knots, and I always will. But there's some folks out there who cannot tie knots because of physical handicaps or something, and it's really interesting and intriguing, but it goes back to the first thing I thought of, man, what a neat invention. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't you think of that? So be working on outdoor inventions. We do a unit in our outdoor ed class, and we'll get some cool stuff. Grunt worms. Have you grunted in a worm this summer? Have you been on a headboat? I got a picture here I'm going to show you in a minute of actually Tom Martin. In fact, I may show it now. Tom Martin's actually went on a headboat the other day, and it is a. Check this picture out. This is off the Florida Queen. Look at that big old red snapper. Now, he did exactly what we said. Check a headboat out this summer. You may not always get something that big. That's a good job, Tom Martin. And I saw the picture. They had some really good ones there. So also we had, let's see what else I had down here. Check out the pier. Okay, fish off the pier. What about tying knots? We just mentioned tying knots. Great time in the hot weather to tie knots. Maps. Have you done your Google Earth? Have you gone on Google and gone to different places you like to go fish and all? Check it out on Google Earth. I added the other day, remember Friday I talked about, have you done any crabbing and also archery? And late in the afternoon, go out and shoot some archery. All kinds of things to do here in the Florida Panhandle in the summer. So make sure you've caught up with that kind of stuff. And if you haven't, you still got half the summer left. All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. And we're talking about all these electronic gadgets and all, and of course for my generation this is a challenge and all, but I want to encourage everybody around my age, just jump on it and do it and get some help. And like I say, I have my iPhone here, and of course it has a camera on it. And I've recently, of course, I take a lot of pictures. I do that a lot, but I'm doing a little bit of video now, and I've been hesitant because of the quality and jerking and all that. But if I keep them short and all, sometimes I don't have my main camera with me. I just do. So I shot this video. I was down at Friday down at Willis Landing, or Saturday Willis Landing. And now remember, you get to go south of Weewall. You have 3 landings in a row. You have Bryant, Douglas, and Willis. And I've probably been at Willis more than any of the landings down there, even Howard Creek and Lake Wimico. But it's a unique area. We talked about that before. But I was at the end of the road down there, and if you take a look, before I start the video, you can see how muddy, the water's just been muddy. See how muddy the water is this summer? This is a little phone video, so it's not going to be top quality. I just want to let you know ahead of time. But I'm just sitting in my truck. I was just it was too hot. I was too tired. I've been working at the camp most of the day. I just sat there and watched and see what all these people having fun. So this is like a little 20 seconds, but okay, I'm talking. I'm going to talk over my talking, and basically, that's the landing there. The boat's coming out. Now, the kids are swimming. What I want to show you on the far right is some deadhead cypress. Look at that trailer behind the boat. That's deadhead cypress. Those guys have found 6 of those cypress logs and have pulled them out somehow. I wish I'd gotten there a little bit early and see how they did all that, but it's a fascinating thing, this deadhead cypress. And I just wanted to show you briefly how things looked and all. And you can see again how muddy the water is right there. Okay, but I didn't, like I say, normally get out, but that's a little phone video, and I'll do more of that on the little short segments. On, of course, long times I use my camera and all. But what I want to talk about a deadhead cypress. I know we've talked about a story before. Just a brief refresher. In the early, when they first came in and cut that virgin timber out of all across southeast, and the last place they got to was Florida. They worked their way down from North Carolina, South Carolina, on into Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama, and then they got into North Florida. And it was the same forest. And in the 20s and 30s, they got down here, and they did some really, I mean, it was the original cuts, amazing size. I mean, it's phenomenal, some of the stories I've read and pictures, some of the rare pictures I've seen of. But they would float them down the river and down the creeks and all, and just float them. And they had big old rafts of them, and some of these get jammed up, and some would sink. And it's the same way the Choctawhatchee River, Apalachicola River. Well, over the years, these guys have gotten a permit to do it, and they've got a fine-tuned method of actually getting them off the bottom and raising them up and actually putting them on a barge and bringing them back, and they're worth a lot of money now. And more importantly, they're able to save that tree, because it's save it as far as people being able to enjoy it now, on land and in their homes and all, sitting on the bottom of the river. So really fascinated, that deadhead cypress. And I should have stopped and talked to the guy. We were sort of in a hurry there. They were getting ready to leave and all, but it goes on the river system here in North Florida, because this is where a lot of that virgin growth was here, and again, huge trees and all in that swamp area. And they couldn't get trucks and all in them, and that's why they floated them down the river. Okay, next thing I'm talking about, I was watching. Let's go to some inventions again. We talked about. Remember, we're talking about drones. I've been fascinated with drones since the last 2 or 3 years when it first came out, and all the applications they could have in the outdoors. And I've talked about, sitting in a tree stand, having a drone flying over different areas and all, and having cameras. And one thing I mentioned last year, because I sat down one night just trying to think of the things you could do with a drone that would help mankind. And one of the things I thought of, I said, and I remember telling Gail, I said, here's a great idea. Why can't you get a drone? And if somebody, because I know what had happened, with someone had drowned or gotten in trouble. It was the last summer, I remember, and with a rip current. And I said, why couldn't they just fly a drone out and drop a life ring or life jacket right there by them? Well, last week on the Today Show, which I don't watch it a lot, but every now and then I'm walking through the room, they were actually doing that, folks. And I said, look, I said, Gail, that's what I'm talking about. And they actually they set it up. I admire how they had it set up, but the results wasn't what they wanted. They had a lifeguard standing by the water, and then they had the drone. So they had a victim out there, quote, victim, splashing in the water like he was drowning. And they said, all right, ready to go. And the lifeguard jumped in there, swam to the guy, and it took him, and I can't remember the exact number, let's just say 20 seconds. It took him 20 seconds to get to him and save him. Then it set up again and did the same thing with a drone holding a life ring, ready to go. The drone took off and went right above the guy. And the drone was in there in less than 8 seconds, okay, which is critical. But what happened, it couldn't drop the life, something jammed up, and it couldn't drop the life jacket. I kept saying, well, go just lower the drone and let the drone go underwater to save the guy. But at 22 seconds, the life jacket dropped. But it got there in time, so what a neat idea. I just want to pass that on to you, because I did mention that, I think, sometime last year when some folks got in trouble here in the Gulf, and I said, so they are doing that now. And I'm sure they're going to perfect it and have it even a lot stronger so they'll drop it on time. Okay? I want to share that with you. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Glad you're with us on a Monday morning. Got a big week ahead, all kind of neat things going on here in the Florida Panhandle. We're talking about them on a daily basis on America's only daily outdoor TV show. We've got some guests coming in this week, going to be talking to you. I'm going to have Justin and Matt come on one day, and they're going to give you a show from the captain's viewpoint. So be watching all week long. Let's look at our fishing game forecast brought to us by Mark Cowart of Edgewater Beach Realty. 832-6000 is Counts Realty now, okay? The times today, we're looking at 10:45 until 12:45. It's going to be warm, but it's an interesting time right there. And then this morning, or this afternoon, 11:12 to 1:12, right at midnight. Okay, that's about a 12-hour swing right there. Okay, 2 weeks ago, went to the Florida Forest Service teacher workshop. Had 39 other teachers there. And one of the last things I'm going to show you was different products made from wood. So when you're sitting in the tree stand as outdoorsman next year, sitting in the tree stand looking at all those trees, and you're wondering, what do all those trees other than lumber? It's amazing at the different products they make from trees. A lot of it comes from that turpentine, what we call that sap, and it goes way back in our history about the old timers going and cutting a tree sap and cutting a tree in a little V, and we talked about that before. But I want to get on into different products. They gave me a whole bag full of stuff, each teacher, a bag full of stuff. And we were just fascinated at different stuff. I don't know, I'm going to put out one thing at a time and show you all these products now came from trees, okay? How about this soft soap? Soft soap right here, that actually came from a lot of the chemicals inside the turpentine, all right? That's one right there. This is Febreze. Now smell, in fact, we were in one of the chemical plants. It smelled like Febreze in one of the sections we went through, and that's what it was, all right? How about some of your gum that you chew on? This is some of that little gum right here. You just think about when you're chewing gum next time about chewing that turpentine. That's where it's coming from. All right. All the little chemicals in there that they come different. How about mouthwash? Hope some of y'all used it this morning, but Scope mouthwash and all different mouthwashes has the chemicals the things that's coming out of trees. All right. Pull in here and see what is this right here. This is shampoo. Some shampoo. Okay. And when you're washing your head. Tomorrow I'll be thinking about that. How about Downy fabric softener? The majority of those chemicals come from the trees. You're going to have a lot to be thinking about in that tree stand next year. All right, this morning, if you brush your teeth, which I hope you did, the toothpaste. Here, this is Crest right here. They give us all this in a bag, and they showed us a chemical breakdown without becoming too complicated of all this that happened. How about Tide washing detergent? Okay, all those chemicals come from the tree, okay? The southern pine tree. Got a couple of more. It's fascinating. Palmolive, this is just some more washing. That's dishwashing. In fact, Gail's been using it. Y'all see that? She's been using some of this. All right? And Pantene, whatever that is. And of course, you couldn't. What about these pencils? They had stacks of pencils and all. And this, of course, all the wood products, all the wood products. A lot of people. And then at the chemical plant, they gave us more stuff. How about orange juice, the Sunny D orange juice? Okay, so some of the same chemicals that they put in, it's made up of stuff out of a pine tree, believe it or not. These little scrub pads right here, see these little scrub pads? Okay, that comes from some of the turpentine. Lipton tea comes from it. Some of the ingredients are in it. Hot chocolate. It's amazing, isn't it? How about a little fruit grain you eat? Okay, some of those chemicals you can just chew on a tree when you get hungry. This is actually the chewing gum. A little more chewing gum there. Your toothbrush. Actually, some of the chemicals there will make the toothbrush. And a couple more. Tylenol. Believe it or not, now Tylenol takes some of the chemicals out of a southern pine tree. Okay, wet wraps, and the last one, of course, that's Colgate toothpaste, and that's it. Anyway, all this stuff right here, all this stuff comes from the Forestry Service, and it's fascinating at all of it and all the chemical breakdown. So as an outdoorsman, we appreciate the trees for the beauty and aesthetics, and also as a habitat for game and all. But when those trees are harvested, they go to consumption by us, a lot of different things we're doing, okay? So I just want to share that with you. I thought you'd enjoy that. I get asked a lot, hope I got time to get over all this. Fishing in the morning or in the afternoon, I may drink some of this juice right here. Jeff, reckon? I'll let you have it after the show. Okay, morning and afternoon fishing. I'm talking about summertime fishing and the pros and cons. I sat down last night, I always try to come up with some fresh stuff on the show every morning, so I sit down the night before, it's like doing my homework, and I guess I'm just education in my mind. I just sit down and I enjoy doing this. So I was trying to think, morning or afternoon, they both had pros and cons. I wrote down, one of the first things I wrote down, of course, if you're looking at the water temperature. It's going to be cooler in the morning, but also the air temperature, the AM, the early morning fishing would have advantages over the afternoon fishing. So if you say you're going to go, of course, I know we want to go fishing when they're biting and when you can. I know all that, but all that taken into consideration, the advantages and disadvantages of morning and afternoon. The advantage of the weather being cooler in the morning, because by 9 o'clock you can check out of there. It's going to be a little bit cooler in the morning. The safety factor, say at the end of the fishing trip, your motor won't start. Well, if you go in the morning, you start fishing 9 o'clock, you're right there in the middle of the morning, you can always get, a lot of times visually get help. If you're at the end of the trip at dark and your motor won't start, you're going to be in a lot more trouble. So that takes an advantage over there, and especially if you're down in fishing those river swamps and all, in the Choctaw River or the Apalachicola River. Less crowded. I'm of the opinion that it's less crowded in the early mornings than it is in late afternoon. You do have some captains out there that hit it every morning. And by the way, when do the captains usually go? Early morning, okay? You can see I'm leaning toward the early morning guy. I'm an early morning guy myself. So it's less crowded a little bit in the morning. A lot of people can get out, and a lot of people, the advantage of afternoon though, you can work all day and then go fishing in the afternoon. That's a great advantage, especially again going on a river system or down at a pond. I can remember my dad going to a pond in the afternoon when he got in from work, hot and sweaty and tired, and he'd go fishing. Okay, avoid bad weather. Usually the storms come in the afternoon, the thunderstorms and all, so this bad weather again will be late in the afternoon as compared to the morning, although last week we did have some bad mornings. The breeze, you want to breeze, you fish in top water. If you fish in top water, you want that water to have a little bit of ripple to it. And a lot of times you have an afternoon breeze as compared to a morning stillness. So if bass fishing all might be different from fishing redfish and all, it's good to have a little bit of break in the water, so that's an advantage there. I also had the tide moving now. Usually the tide moving really good at daybreak, but also moving good dark, so that's a washout advantages there. I got several more. I'm going to run out of time. I'll pick them up tomorrow. But anyway, write down your advantages and disadvantages of fishing morning or afternoon, okay? You have a great day. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.